All right. Okay. All right. Okay. It's Sunday. It's officially March 1st, 2026. We are in a new month. We are in a new year. Oh, this is exciting for me, for you. We are officially working on the Write a Book with Me, episode 60. We have been doing this for 60 weeks, which is basically, it comes down to about 60 hours of work that I've been working on this book live in real time on the screen. As you can see, we will be getting to it. We will be getting to it. We are on chapter technically 1.2, but it will become chapter 2. We are getting there. But I have to get through all of the fun stuff and all the communication and all the what's going on kind of stuff. All right. So, first and foremost, remember, you can always ask questions. That's why the scroll on the bottom tells you. Please ask questions if you have any about writing, about your book, about what I'm doing, whatever it is. I'm a developmental editor and a writing teacher. So it's like free advice. You could just ask away, and I'll be happy to tell you. For anyone who was with me yesterday, I was not feeling very well. My neck was going at it. I'm in a cold house because my heater went out. But Monday, the heater people are coming, so that'll be good. I'm feeling a little bit better today, but mostly because I got my soda. I'll tell you right now. All right, let's get into the comments. We'll say hi to everybody. What's up, Angel Faye? Also, if anyone cares, it's like 33 degrees outside, or negative 0.05. It's very cold. I'm glad you're surviving. Everybody, much love to Angel Faye. I love that you have the good spirits, like I said earlier. But we're obviously, our hearts are with you. What's up, Cindy? NSB. Everyone's here. I do have a feeling, yes. SB is talking about the poll. Let me mention the poll real quick. So what is your ultimate writing distraction? I got a joke one on there, but the first one is scrolling social media. It's a killer of productivity. And then there's deep cleaning the house. And then, of course, researching 17th century hats. This is a joke one, but it really means like doing random research, just going deep diving into the internet. It doesn't necessarily have to be about 17th century hats, but it could be. And, of course, starting a new story. We have 6 votes already. Man, that's pretty fun. We will talk about that at the end of the hour. Back to the comments. Hello, friends, everybody. All right. A big shout out to Cindy. I want to send some love to you live, just in front of everybody. Thank you so much for sharing something so intimate and personal, and feeling comfortable enough with this community, because we are here to be somewhere you can lean on, somewhere you can talk and not feel, like you can't be yourself. So it means a lot to me that you shared this with me and the audience, and just know that I'm sending you love. The death, a loss of a parent is never easy. So I feel for you. So I'm with you, hugging you. Ciao Bello, what is up? Emma, your poll doesn't include my number one distraction. What is your number one distraction? Is it your friend Adani? What distracts you the most? All right. Hey everybody. Hola. Cindy. Yeah, I'm going stay warm and dress. Too easy to catch cold. Oh yeah, this old house. It is an old crown house. Inside is like whatever it is, 33 Celsius, 55 degrees. I got my little hat on. This hand is freezing. This hand's all right because I have the heat. I have a heater below me, but I wish I had a fire going. Hey Emma, hi Angel, overdressed Tom. Yeah, that's right. I got my hoodie on. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Oh. I got it. No, I got it. That'll make me too hot. Condolences, Cindy. Yeah, absolutely. Condolences. Condolences for sure from everybody. Flowers, always good times. Ooh, we got the Laura visiting in from the longest land. And yeah, I love it. So sorry, Cindy. It's Terrible, terrible loss. Terrible loss. I've told Thomas to wear 2 pairs of trousers, Cindy. Look, if I wear 2 pairs of trousers, then I can't let my legs breathe. All right. Are we doing the writing sprint tonight? That's funny. No, we are not. We are going to be doing the Write a Book with Me series, as we all know, though I would like to do the sprint. You could, by the way, while I'm doing this, I'm just going to be talking and writing, so technically you could utilize it as a sprint. Enjoy the time to have some fun and do it. Flowers! Oh, Cindy. Absolutely, again. 100%. 100%. You only got one 20-minute session yesterday. I got lots of writing in 3 hours at the library. That makes me happy to hear that you're being productive and proactive and you're able to get those words in the time. Yeah, I tried to do 2, but there was a certain point where my body was saying, you know what, why don't you sit down, simmer down, and that's what I had to do. I've been here. I've been there, Cindy. Take all the time you need, for sure. Malos, yeah, the love, compassion, I definitely. And remember, this is something that when I was dealing with the grief and the loss of parents, it'll pass kind of crap. Look, I'm still in grief. It's been a few years now, and I don't think the grief needs to subside because it reminds me of what I lost and how much I loved my parents, or at least for sure. Gives me a chance to remember those memories and not feel like, what is wrong with me? Like, there's nothing wrong with feeling that grief. Nothing. It's a powerful part of the heart and the soul and the memories that you held very close. Scrolling through Pinterest for ideas. Ooh, that is well, all right. So that would be research 17th century hats. That's what that basically would be. Guess what? Chicken butt. Another siren. Angel Faye, please let us know that you're safe. If you have to go, run. Do this. Ignore us. Go to safety. Man, I wish I could just open the door over here and let you and your family just walk in and just be like, we're gonna hang out in the Midwest until this whole thing is done. Lots of changes because when she was sick, I quit work, or rather went casual, and I really don't want to go full-time again, working my last 2 weeks starting tomorrow. Well, I hope you do whatever you got to do to sort of find your own balance. Oh, bought a trailer and to go toward. That's really interesting, actually. And maybe that's going to benefit. Maybe this is the thing that really, shows you the next part of your life, to sort of like take those lessons that you got from her and could be interesting. I'm quite intrigued to be here to hear that and have a shoulder to lean on, to willing to listen to that. Emma is distracted by the hair of shadow daddies. Shadow daddies. There are a lot of shadow daddies out there. All right, might be time for a hotel, Thomas. They take kittens. Oh. It's funny. I have leggings because I used to do Shakespeare plays. So I have the leggings from the Shakespeare days. And I will say this. They are comfy. That's all I have to say. They are comfy. All right. You learn to love. Yes, you do learn to love grief as much as the person you lost. That's the journey. Yeah, it's just this. It's that shift from, it's loss and I can't, to wait, I can hear them, I can feel them still, I smell them, there's certain times when I have mannerisms of my father and the way I say things, and I'm like, oh, there he is, he's still there, he's moving through me, and it's just like little kind of nuggets that really work out, and I will start crying if I don't move on. All right. My mom always wanted to go to PEI. We still have Dad's ashes, and he refuses to take her. So guess what? I love it. You're heading to PEI with both of them. Then we'll return and intern. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I'm in my office, which is my safe room. Okay. All right. That makes me feel good. I'm worrying over there about you. True flowers. I have fleecy leggings. They are fabulous. They can get fabulous. Nice and warm. Nice and warm. Hey, that's awesome, Hannah Hart. I'm so happy that you're drawing some book covers and keeping to it. Let us know how the how it's going. That is so true, Flowers. My distraction is not. What's the distraction, Diane? You tell us. Now, just for the record, the researching 17th century hats is just going deep dive researching. That's all that is. I just wrote a joke. Sweet Hannah, that's awesome. I sold a very old chest of drawers of my mom's today. She lives on in the house of a young couple now. Well, that's nice. Knowing this has really helped me this afternoon. Yeah, because it's like they get to sort of fill that house now with newer memories and sort of like build in it. But they're in the presence and essence of this deeper history. I think that obviously live in the States, so I don't have mass age around me. Yeah, maybe 3, 4, 500 years, whatever. But like, it's like it's like my family who's gone to Italy or Sicily or Rome, and then they come back, and it's like you just can't. Obviously, the people that live there probably are getting dulled to it, but like to walk around the ruins or just to see uh, these different structures. But like in England, and tell me if I'm wrong, England, the houses are so old. I mean, they come from these generations that are just filled with movement and it's just interesting to me to be in that presence. And I think that's I know my brain is getting in. My brain is going there. Phew. Oh, playing video games. Well, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Where do you live, Angel? With everything happening, I haven't kept up with the news. Stay safe. The drawers were from around 1949. Fun fact: that was the year my mother was born. She was born on April 14th. No, yeah, April 14th, 1949. Something like that. All right. We're donating everything to WINS, Women in Need. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love those old pieces. So much care taken to create them. Dove. Yep. There's this thing I saw the other day about old antiques, but like just doors too. Like the way they made the hinges on doors, or the way they built around like the sidings of houses, and now it's just like it looks just so soulless compared to the carpentry and like handship. My mom was born June 25th. Look at that. They might know each other. We don't know. They were old till the blitz. Oh, yeah, all right. That makes sense. Yeah, because but there's still, isn't there still foundational elements to that where these drawers, if I could have kept them, I would have beautiful dovetail joints. As long as you have photos of them, that's something, right? That's something. All right, everybody, let's talk about it. Let's get into the world. Remember, there is a poll. Feel free to answer the poll. We will talk about it at the end of the hour. We have, what is your ultimate writing distraction? Scrolling, social media, that's probably going to win. Deep cleaning the house, researching 17th century hats, or what it really is just doing deep research on ideas and information for world building. And, of course, starting a brand new story. Now, if you are new here and you don't know what's going on, What happened? Oh, 1 second. I'm missing a page. Where is it disappeared? That's weird. Let me pop that back in there. Boop. Okay. There we go. All right. If you don't know, we are working on, if this is the first time ever on the show and watching the live and wondering what is Thomas doing with this Write a Book with Me series from concept to completion. Well, we are writing using the Thomas J. Bellezza process. That's a me. I am not saying this is the right way to write a book. I'm saying this is the way I do it, and I'm giving you a deep dive inside look into the process in real time on the screen so you could ask questions about it. If you haven't seen the series so far, this is our 60th episode. We have done 59 episodes prior, and we've worked on 9 of the 21 steps. Though I'll be transparent, we did kind of skip alpha, and the reason is because I'm not going to sit here and wait a couple months for people to read the books. I sort of just jumped over that, but I did explain what alpha reading is. So there is a video on alpha readers. More importantly, we are on the first draft of it, which is touching on prose, dialogues, and immersion. If you notice, I updated the list so you can see the finer details of everything. This is also, if you don't know, in my book. That's right. You can check out the 27 plot point outline, when plot meets story. I do talk about this process, but I also talk about outlining in general, and then, of course, narrative understanding and structure for pantsers. So it is not just a book about how to outline. So today we are basically working on chapter 1.2, and the reason that is because chapter 1 I broke up into 3 chapters. And what are you saying? Well, I'm saying that when we did the zero draft outlines, because I like doing the zero draft outlines, basically I map out what I think the chapters will be, and then as I build on them and as I get closer and closer to the final draft, this is where I'm going to either move a chapter around, I'm going to add a chapter, I'm going to break a chapter up, maybe I'll shrink a chapter or I'll delete a chapter. All that is part of the process. To keep in mind, again, for anyone who's watching this for the first time, 9 steps, really, I did in basically 59 hours. So if you put that into perspective, it's not even a month's worth of work yet. You know what I mean? With that, we're getting into it. Yeah, I read something about the army in Britain wrecking so many homes when they moved back. Kind of sad. Well, yeah. Plus the dropping of stuff and the terrible, terrible, terrible experience. All right. Okay. Now, this is what I got so far. Now, keep in mind, this is not clean prose. I'm not really going in for perfection. This is a first draft, which is, if this is your first time watching, I'm taking these extended zero draft outlines, these zero drafts right here. And these are just plot beats that I'm trying to write out. I only got a couple more, so that's good. And I'm trying to write in first person. We did get a name for the navigator, though. Felix Zax. Excellent work. Excellent work. All right. Without a doubt, I deleted the idea and replaced it with. He laughed as he should. It's DEF. I don't know. I did. Oh, I that's fine. I get it. All right. They took over many of the larger homes during World War II and didn't take care of them with compassion. Well, yeah, yeah. It's the soldiers were just like, it's mine, mine, bitches. War is crazy. War is crazy. I think that's why I like writing about war. Because I like exploring the human element of it. And if you don't know, Death of a King is war. And one of the reasons for that is because my father was a veteran. He was in Vietnam. He got blown up there. He did survive, if you could call it that. And so it was always interesting to, as I got older and he got older, to have that kind of comfortability of expressing what he experienced of it. A lot of funny stories that to where also though you're like it was during shootouts or like people were getting blown up or someone got hurt, but like the way he tells it, my father was hysterical. Probably why I like humor. And but there are certain elements to his life that I was like, I really kind of want to explore those things. And I told him that as he was getting closer and closer to the end day, and he was excited about that. He wanted, so I was like, all right, I'm going all in, Pop. So that really helped motivate me to touch on those themes when it comes to Death of a King. All right, let's see. All right, Laura works around making sure that okay, well, I think we already started, right? The workers secure the ship. I step down. All right. I'm gonna try some. By the way, remember this is a first draft, so I'm not going into crazy cleanness and like it has to be perfect. Um, oh, can you tell me why I've edited the end of this chapter since Friday when I had 3 pages work and I still have 3 pages left? Yeah, that's a great question. The reason is now, remember, if it takes you a month to edit a chapter, it takes you a month, and it's not a race. A book will come out when it comes out. Um, think of your book as a fine painting, or if I may, the Statue of David. You know, how long did the Sistine Chapel take? Right? How long did it take to paint the Sistine Chapel? It took approximately 4 years to paint that thing. It's 500 square meters. It's a big monster. It's not about rushing it sometimes. When it comes to art, when it comes to getting those voices out and the story, it's really about staying focused on what feels good and putting in the time. Will it get faster? Will some things fly by? Yeah. There's certain things I write. I'm like that, right? But there are other things where it takes me a little longer. Even in Death of the King, there are certain scenes that I can write really fast because it's just the emotional value of that scene. I'm just so comfortable with that. And then there are other things that I'm a little not in tune with, but I understand it, but not and you got to kind of work for it. R.R. Martin talks about how when he writes Tyrion, because Tyrion is so smart and so witty, and Martin, as per his own words, is not. It takes him weeks, sometimes months, to write a chapter for him. In some cases, 14 years for a book. But uh that's the thing. Sometimes it's going to take a little longer for some things and some things not. But in either case, I'm rooting for you. You know that. I think there are more words somehow. Maybe when you went to sleep, Morticia started writing the book for you. Yeah, the gallows humor is a great way of dealing with. Yes, yeah. It's funny as you said. Yeah, the horrors of war. My dad and father-in-law were very, very funny men. Yeah, they're yeah, 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 yeah. They're my father used to always say, and this is in the book, this book or the next one, for the Maven Wars, but he used to say, you got to laugh in life because you're not going to get out of it alive or something like that. He's like, if you're not laughing, you're not living. You have to laugh or you're not going to get out of it. So, but he was talking about Vietnam in a sense. He's like, but he was also talking like in a almost a philosophical way. He's like, if we didn't laugh, we would have never gotten out of there alive. We would have never came home. We would have, our brains would have been destroyed. And even though he had PTSD, and I could tell you some things, it was just interesting. It was really nice to hear him talk about those things as he got older and felt more comfortable about it. But lurkers, bloop the beard, please. You got to bloop that beard and bloop that like button. All right. Now we got to do this kind of romanticy kind of thing. All right. So Laura blooped. Fantastic, Cindy. All right, for anyone watching, I'm trying to get to this part. So I'm really comfortable doing this in third person limited, but this is a first person, so I'm trying to figure out how to take it from the real world to inside Laura's mind. So let's see. She's working on it and watching some of the men working. She has a book fantasy of a scene of a man being filthy from work and being romantic with a woman, but it has to be really bad romance because she's not a great writer yet, nor does she have a great story. So it's almost more of a joke. It should be more stereotypy. When did lurkers signed in? They're always hiding. They're always hiding. secret. They're hiding. All right. Clash of Metal. Oh. Clash of Metal. Pounding and pushing. Clash of Metal powered. Pounding and thrashing. I like a Clash of Metal powered. How about first of all? Okay. 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 I don't know, but I've been told you never slow down, never grow old. Let's see. A clash of metal. A clash of metal. What do you think? Powered? Drove over the vast empty field. All right. Workers. I think we could just do that. Workers took to the pool. Change it. Took to the pools. Chain straps. Renting. Slam. Hammers. And drills. Let's see. Evened out the whole of my ship, giving it all they could to make the trip back possible. All right, what we got here? Can somebody cue the music? Cue the music. Is there no sound? Hello? Oh. Hey. I needed that. I needed that. All right. It's great. Giving it all they could to make the trip back possible. All right. Let's sweat. Ooh. How about in a mix of mud and sweat? Mud and sweat. The musk. Hey. Licked. Licked at the air. Serving. Oop, those causes space, the field. Or I should say, yeah, a little close to the field. Giving into deep drought. Oh, no, we used deep already. Surrounding. And remember, I'm trying to make it so it's silly. Remember, the romance, the fade into the romance needs to be silly because she's not, she hasn't written anything yet, so she's just kind of like, what is romance, right? So his body shone in the glistering sun, stepping up. We're working here. We're working here. Right. So Greece tore into the purity of her clean white gown. Dress. No, I think it should be gown. Let's go back. Gown. That's not gown. Is it gown? I think that's right. Oh, I was right. Okay. All right. His body shone. Let's just go with body glistened. Heat, the sun, stepping up to Alyssa. Her white gown flowed. Let's just simplify this. The ship's roaring engines and push of air. She tripped back against the hard, cold metal. The against hard, cold metal falling into the grasp of his reach. Grease tore into the purity of her clean white gown. Grease. Kissed her. Golden skin smeared. Smeared? And blank and red. Grease from a hard day's work. Is it hard days? A hard day's? Yeah, okay. It's a hard day's night. Okay. All right. Oh, how we doing here? How far did I get so far? Let's see. Work is scary. Right? I think this is where we're starting. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Let's see where we're at. Okay. It's really bad. Okay, so we did this part. Oh, we got to do the tight shirt. So the men end up having open tight shirts on and help a woman down from a ship. She's untouched by any field, and the men are covered in grease and dirt. One of them pulls her closer and slow dances with her. Nah, that sounds silly. That sounds really silly. They stop, and the moment starts over again before saying it's stupid. Okay. We could do the dance though. All right. He took her. Okay. That's silly. We'll skip that too. They stop in the moment it's over again. Okay. All right. I know. Okay. No, that's stupid. All right. Said. I don't know what I'm going to call the wrist computer, but I definitely want to call it something, right? Because she's definitely working on that, right? Was it toaster? Not sure. Blah blah blah. He's a nice guy. My parents. Blank blank blank. I stepped down from the ship. I stepped down from the ship, giving the hall a second glance. My life is boring here to there and back home. My hand traced over small and large dents. The dipped in. Oh, they dipped in. They dipped in. Hooray! Uh oh. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So dipped in the middle. Yeah. How would it all be different? The orchestra pounding. Oh, I thought she had. I'm a little confused there. I thought she had the little wrist thing. Okay. Was he right? I think she had a wrist. I could have swore she had like a wrist thing. Let's see. Wrist. Yeah. Right. All right. Spending more money on this wrist log. Ha ha! I knew she had a wrist log. I gotta give this a name. I'm gonna give that a name. Let's put that there. Okay. The reason I'm doing that, I put that note there, isn't so much that like while I'm writing it next time I could like think about it. It's that when I'm up to the taking notes part and I'm going through the chapter, I'll be like, oh yeah, I need a name for that, and then I can put it in my master notes. And then once I have all my master notes, I can kind of compare the notes and be like, what do I want to do here? And then that'll give me a chance to sort of connect things. Connect things. All right, so we're gonna just call it a wrist log. No, that's stupid. I'm deleting it from my wrist log. Wrist log. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Late for class, but present. Present. What is up, AA Ron? Hey, Ro. Welcome to the show. All right. Okay. They stop the moment, starts over again with Laura saying that's stupid. Three men help the woman down, and a man says she's going to pick up three. Oh, that's right. That's right. Maybe. So now I'm gonna make it like she's talking into the device. Well, okay, that's fair. Aren't you dealing with it? No, aren't you? I don't want to say where you are because I don't want to. What is it called? Doxing? Is it called doxing? I don't know. I'm not gonna dox you. How do I? Uno moment. Oh, by the way, Ro, now that I have you here, I should be getting the book order today or tomorrow. I got a notification for it. So I'll be mailing that. If I get it today, I'll mail it out. I'll mail you the book out tomorrow. Good sir. Good sir. Oh, interesting. So just know I'm very grateful, man. Very grateful. Let me I just gotta do a real quick thing. 1 second. How do I cash? No, what's going on? I don't know how to do this. Uno momento, por favor. All right. And then how do you I think that did it. All right, I think that worked. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. What we got here? Oh, Hannah. I got done coloring my book cover with the phoenix wing, and I decided to draw 8 more. Hey, man, that's great. That's awesome. As long as you're having fun. And I put my 8 characters by each feather. Feather. Yeah, I'll give you a nice applause for that. Let's give you applause. Ready? Fantastic. What do we got? Interesting design, Hannah. Would love to see it. Has your paint? Yeah, it has. It has. I am feeling much better. I got my caffeine in me. That definitely helped. I don't like coffee, so I don't drink the coffee, but the caffeine helps with the pain. It suppresses it. Since I don't really like taking the medicine anymore because I only got the bullshit. All right. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna have her actually speaking this into her wrist log, whereas before she was more or less thinking about the romance story. So the romance story was like in her head, and now she's just gonna talk about maybe all right, 3 men, help the woman, help her down, and the man says, "You're gonna pick one and could have the woman." Right. The girl could say back, "Hey, why can't I pick all?" Okay. All right. Obviously, we're going to work on that. This is all first draft, remember. First draft. But anyway, we got this. Oh, Felix is back. All right. All right. Next. Wait. How about we just have him say, believe in more. All right. Okay, there we go. Beep, 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 beep. All right. We got. Yay, I've edited 1, still have 3 left side. We're gonna give you an applause. Fantastic. fantastic flowers. So proud of you. Now I'm going to draw my characters. Didn't you just? Oh no, you drew out the covers. You drew out the cover. Okay, there we go. We just did another chapter. Let's get some word count here. Let's see. The opening is. What we got? 406. Let's see. 406. Oh wait, we're gonna need two of these. Boop. All right, this is gonna be 406. All right, then we're gonna put this here. We're gonna zero that out. All right, and this one's gonna be number 2, and this is gonna be Laura thinks about her romance. Okay, and then this one is gonna be. What we got? What we got? 637. 637. Yeah. Why is this not changing? Oh. That's weird that happened. Why is that doing it? Interesting. Interesting. Are they all like that? What the? I will have to check that out. Why is it not going all the way? Son of a. That was weird. All right. There we go. There we go. We just did another chapter. How's that feel? How's that feel? Oh, look at that. We're at the end of the hour almost. All right. Couple things. Oh, we'll get into this. Flowers, I feel you. Sometimes I sit and look at a chapter and wonder, what the heck am I doing? Maybe you're not in the right mindset. I love it. Not to be confused with 6 without the 3 and then 6, 7, 6, 7. All right. Let's talk about it. So right. Again, this is a first draft. I'm taking the 0 draft plot beats that I created for the rhythm of the chapter, and I basically tried to write out. I say try. I wrote out prose, because the first draft is for prose, dialogue, and some immersion. Some immersion. So I'm not really too concerned with the deeper immersion, though I have put some in there. More importantly, this is not line edited. It's just the crap version. It's just me getting it out, just getting me the idea out. The other thing I have to try to get used to, and just for transparency, and those who will watch this series and watch my channel know that I write traditionally in cinematic third-person limited, rotating with a lyrical clarity. This, I decided to try something a little new, challenge myself. Not only am I writing in science fiction, which is not really my forte, but I am also trying to write it in first person, past tense. I'm still trying to maintain a cinematic vibe for the first person. The thing I have to get more comfortable with is that I don't want it to feel like she's talking to someone, like in her head. Like this, I stepped outside, feels like, why, like in my mind, I'm not comfortable with that, right? So that's something I have to explore as a writer as I'm trying to find my voice. I stepped outside, tapping my foot for a solid. That feels so dissonant, so like disassociated. Um, to me, maybe, I don't know, as an example, if I was to write it in third person, it'd be uh uh strip the air, uh, fresh new, she oop, and she what time to put solid first step. All right, then I wouldn't say any step really. All right. Holding balance. Weak. Yeah, I would do like maybe like something like that. Like I would sort of try to move it through a visual element, and I don't. I'm having trouble understanding that with first person. Same here, flowers, but one way is to just write it out. You can edit it later. I think flowers is editing right now. I think right that's the what you're having to get through the editing stage right now. It could go outside. I tap my foot for a solid step, seeking stability. All that is great, Cindy. I like that. I mean, I also try to avoid certain. The thing is, even that to me sounds disassociated. I outside. I tap my foot for a solid step. Like like it still feels like the I part is the thing that's bothering me. Also, to anyone out there, I'm not doing any line editing or fancy writing right now. So like, uh, to me, to me, that would be like clean writing. Like outside, I tap my foot for a solid step, seeking stability. Um, that would be something I would consider that later steps. I've added 400 words. Oh, damn, fantastic! That's awesome. Um, so yeah, one of the things I have to figure out as I'm working on the first draft is how do I get away from that feeling, that disassociation. I want to work on that as just a process of writing. Question about something you talked about in another video. You mentioned starting with paper cover, then moving to hardcover. Is it customary to use a different cover for a hardcover? No, no, no. I believe I mentioned starting with hardcover and then going to paper cover. Um, but I also may have said, because in the industry, uh, as far as I know, they usually start with the trade back. But they're getting rid of those, right? The paper trade backs, the smaller ones. I don't got one over here, uh, but as far as covers go, no, you usually would keep the same cover, uh, for branding reasons. The only time I've ever seen them change the cover is a reprint. So like if they've added or changed, or it's like annotated. If it's a The other reason they do that is like, say book two comes out, and then they'll redo both covers to sort of like reinvigorate the series. Then the third book comes out, they'll do it again. Another thing is if you have those, I don't got anything close to me, but when they have the collections where it's like 3 or 4 books in the box collection, they'll redo the cover. Another thing they'll do is if a movie or television show is made of it, they'll reprint the covers with the poster, or a new variation of the cover with the actors. But to answer your question, I would not change the cover from a hard to a paper, um, just for continuity, especially in the beginning. Hey Afghani, loved your cover you showed yesterday. I made some comments on yesterday's video if you're interested. That's right, Cindy did. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Awesome. I'll check it out. Thank you. Grazie mille. Anyway, all right. So for anyone watching, this is just me trying. Oh, so why not do both covers at the same time? It's not that well, you can do this cover at the same time. You just gotta. It's a different template though, because the sizing of a paperback is going to be different than the hardcover, and the reason is because on the hardcover, the wrap on the hardcover is different. So the wrap goes in and then underneath. You see that? So the wrap on this is a little thicker than, say. Uh, All right, well, here's an old book of mine. Ignore it. But with See, this is glossy. I know Richard likes the glossy. Um, the This is the paperback, so there's no fold over, so it's just a cut to bleed. So the sizings are different. But other than that, the reason I launched the hardcover first is just because, as far as I know, in the industry, they usually do hardcover. They sell it a little bit, and then they do the paperback. But you can do whatever you want. You got to remember, like, the business, however you want to approach it, is part of your brand. I know you mostly release the ebooks, which again is also fine. Like that's a part of your strategy, right? So hardcover is pricier. That is true. Um, but the other thing is, like, if I'm doing a speaking engagement or if I'm teaching somewhere or if I go to like an event, the hardcovers sell more, and they also look nicer, etc., etc., etc. Ebooks for short stories. Well, I hope once. By the way, when you get like two or three, I would say three short stories. Like if they're, I forget what your book sizes are, but I think they're like what 30,000 words, maybe 40,000 words. I think if you could get three of your short stories done, you should put them together in a collection book. You know, and make a hardcover of it. But that's an aside. That's something else. But I just like the hardcovers first. I like the look of them. I like the feel of them, and then I move on from there. But it's all strategy. It all comes down to what you want to do. Yes, Richard prefers his precious.
Precious must be shiny.
All right. I may do a collection of short stories and release it. And if you definitely should, your writing's fantastic. So short or long doesn't matter. I have books in hardcover that I've purchased because I want to read them often, and hardcover does stand up to the pain and the test of time. All right, before we finish my hour and get into the poll, let me just do my final analysis of this. So again, when I'm working on my first draft, I'm not thinking of like how pretty a line is or even this dialogue. Like to me, this dialogue moved pretty quickly. I personally like to have a little bit more movement in the dialogue, so I would probably have some more physical elements to it. You could see a little bit of it there. I also this whole like he waved to his people. I think I have a couple. He looks. If I have too many he said, she said, I get rid of those. Um, so there's a lot. There's a lot that right now in the first draft I'm not too concerned about. I'm just again trying to get out the prose and move it around. But my biggest concern with writing in first person is this I element. I don't really like the like leaning against my ship. The words got stuck in my head. To me, like reading this line for myself, this feels like I thought, or he thought, or she thought. I don't like it. Trying my hardest to get this damn idea out. I like the sort of conversation element. Like I'm working on the noir right now, and I'm feeling the first person. It feels through the character. There's a couple moments where I know I'm gonna have to clean it up a little bit. Um, but with this, it feels too disassociated. So let's see. I called chapter 15 Down in the Park. That's awesome. Down in the park. Will you be adding more internal stuff? Probably. Again, it depends. The closer I get to the end of the book, the more I'm going to understand the character's voice. And obviously, when I go through the second draft, that'll probably indicate. Because I don't want to just do internal to have internal. I want the internal dialogue or the internal processing, as I call it, to come out naturally. So right now, I am only trying to figure out the voice and the character themselves, which again is part of the first draft process. I'm finding the computer attitude. I think Felix feels a little good. Laura has a good feel to her, but again, I like it to feel cinematic. I like to feel like I'm framing. That's just part of my voice. So if it's not feeling like that, I have to adjust it. Only because I'm trying to give shape and substance to the scene, right? But also I'm like this is technically in her head. I'm trying my hardest to get this damn idea out. That is internal, romance. Internal. Who knew it would be this hard? Internal. Spending more money on this damn this wrist log. Internal. Really ended up being a good purchase. Internal, right? But something like the machines unloaded food, supplies, and other robotic parts from the cargo. That's external. That's all what's visualized. That feels all right to me. Though I would obviously probably work on the wording a little bit. I would clean it up in the second draft. What is the machinery? Maybe I would describe the machinery, how it's moving, how it's unloading the food. Like to me, that's where my brain wants to go. Not in a first draft. No, if I go there, it's just because I'm in the flow. But right now, my brain sees this and I go, all right, second draft. What does the machine look like, and how is it unloading the food? That is a little bit more fun for me as a writer, um, than just the internal stuff. But I do like internal. But where's that? My words had a bit of a slur to them, leaning my back like this. It just feels. I like how it's coming out in the noir more than I like this. But I like when it feels, more, robots flew off the back of the towboat. I like that. And a burst of fuel and fire as the jetpacks thrusted them to my ship. The taste of fuel soaked the air, hitting the back of my throat. They landed near my ship. Like, the my part, anytime I don't know, something I have to work on. It's something I will have to work on. Anyway, all right. We get here. I'm fine with first person until it's sex time. Yeah, and then it gets a bit creepy because you're like, I am, I grabbed his diphthong and and glided it into the cave of wonders, and you're just like, okay, I'll read that later. Maybe I could just. All right, there we go. They wake up in the morning. I think he'd be honored that his fans use anything he's made as a homage. Agreed. Newman. He won't mind. He won't mind. Awkward. Very awkward. It is. In the epic fantasy stuff, I would say not so much in the first book, but the second book has some sensuality in it. It goes a little deeper into that because the characters are in a different place emotionally, mentally. They're a little older, depending on who we're talking about. And then the third book gets a little bit more, but also the violence gets more. The topics get a little bit more aggressive. But it's also in third person limited, so at least you're watching it. But I also, when it comes to like sex scenes, it depends who the character is. Like a character, well, I won't mention any, but there's one character where the sexual element of it is more intimate, and it's really about the connection and less about the physicality of it. So describing the way I worked it in the second book is through that character, the sexuality is described through their connection, their emotions, the way they are experiencing the closeness. The fact that they are even experiencing this moment together. But there's another character that is a little more into let me tie you down kind of like stuff, and they're into the control, and the other person, so the way they're experiencing is way different. And that is something to remember also as a writer. I talk about it often on this channel, is when you're describing things, you need to push it through the POV. I think that's the other reason I feel like this and the other things, like Cindy's example was really good. Like this is a pretty line. Outside I tap my foot for a solid step, seeking stability. But just reading that doesn't feel like Laura, right? It doesn't feel like how she's experiencing the world. But I also believe that I'm not completely inside her. Laura's expressing the world with this I step down from my ship stuff, or, whatever, the leaning against my ship. Like, I feel like this isn't Laura. So I have to, that's what I think is causing the issue with my brain, is that description needs to be through the character, is POV. So no matter how pretty I can make the line, again, this is a very, very good line that Cindy created. Outside, I tap my foot for a side. It's very smooth, very clean. It's concise, but it does, to me, that doesn't feel like Laura, just as much as this doesn't feel like Laura for me in this. And I think that's what I have to work on. And I think that's something, well, not that I think, but that is something I teach clients too when I'm reading a book. Like if I'm on page 4 and it's through this character, and I'm on page 10, chapter 10, and it feels like the same character through description, that is a note I give. I go, all right, you're basically just describing it. So there's things, Raspberry Award for the worst love scene ever. Oh, scene language. Oh, deeper into, pun intended. I read first person character, which an author wrote a woo, woo. I read first person. I read first person. Merci would applaud you and her YouTube channel. Oh, she heard that. Marissi, Jenna Marissi. I have no words. Hey, Lexi Price. Actually, my ultimate writing distraction is video game. You know, someone else said that too earlier. Diana, I believe. Either playing or watching on my favorite channels. I know, I should have put video games in there. It's all right. It's all right. Social media is definitely winning the bowl. So, yeah. To finish my thought, POV needs to be through the character. And there's just something about the way I'm writing Laura's voice versus, especially because it's in first person, the way Laura's talking about the external movement. I feel like this feels good, like romance. Who knew it would be this hard? Spending more money on this wrist log really ended up being a good purchase. Like that feels like Laura. But if I lose my day trying to write anything, what's the point of even having, like, that feels like Laura, but this line doesn't feel like Laura. So, I suppose video games could fall under social media. They could, scrolling, could. I'm always on YouTube or Netflix. Writing seems to happen in between videos. Yeah, but if the YouTube and Netflix helps you kind of like loosen your mind and get comfortable and stuff like that, it's a good extra stuff. But anyway, all right. So that's my thought on this. I'm gonna continue obviously working. We got the next chapter. This will be the next chapter. I'll work on this next week. I got some notes for myself. I got to add some more dog stuff. But maybe next week I'll try something else. I'll try playing with the description part of it. I feel comfortable with her voice, but I don't feel comfortable with the description element. So that's something to keep in mind. True Lenny. All right. All right. Let's get to the poll, and then we'll do some author questions. All right. The poll says, what is your ultimate writing distraction? We have scrolling social media at 79%. And then we have a triple tie for 7% with deep cleaning the house, researching 17th century hats, and of course, starting a brand new story. I'm just going to end the poll unless anybody else wants to jump on the poll. We only got 14 votes, so there's 4 votes still attached. Now, researching 17th century hats, for anyone who hasn't voted yet, what is that about? It's just researching information and details, going deeper into the world of research. That's all that means. I was just making a joke about 17th century hats. Other than that, my ultimate distraction, by the way, would be scrolling social media, just sitting there like this. Does anyone else make that face when you scroll? It's Lord, I hope you don't do that. All right. Ending the thing. What do we got here? My new flat, apartment for Thomas, I appreciate that, has a balcony. Ooh, and trees and birds and squirrels, oh my! So I can sit and sip fizzy water in the summer and tap on the laptop like a proper writer. I love it, Flowers. I love it. I'm a little jealous, I'll be honest. Treehouse. Sounds like she lives in a treehouse. That can be distracting, but a lovely distracting. Enjoy the birds. Ground floor flat, which makes me feel oh, that's nice. That's nice. Everyone. Oh, everyone does it. Are you talking about the funny face? All right. You are definitely not in the right mindset, Flowers. All right. Well, at least not for editing. Not for editing. Let's do it. I'm going to put it up there. Answering audience questions. If anyone has any questions about writing or your writing in general, please let me know. We will answer those questions now. it's social media. But if it wasn't, it really could be anything just to find an excuse. Well, that's true. Yeah, anything to keep from writing, it happens. Well, we are waiting for some questions. I'll just do the whole thing. Remember to bloop the beard, bloop the like button. Interaction and activity does help the algorithm from the YouTube. It means a lot to me, but especially if you like what you're watching and what you're learning on this channel. Definitely helpful. More importantly, I have 3 books available. Let me just go through the spiel real quick. Exclusively on Patreon, if you purchase the Scribe tier, you get Death of a King, the first book in the series of the Maven War saga. It is epic fantasy. I will say this much. It isn't just your book. You also get educated. So I show you the short form outline, the extended outline, the 0 draft, the first draft, and the 3rd draft before the polished prose, and I actually explain things. So there are explanations and annotations, sort of like an inside look into my brain and my choices, but there's also lessons attached to the chapters for each thing. The fun part is, if you join the Scribe now, you'll get a backlog of 25 chapters. That's right. The whole first act is officially up and available for you to read through. I recommend jumping on that. Again, you can go to makearightlefthehere.com and you can go down to the Patreon banner, or you can find anything that says Death of the King, go to the books, whatever the case is, and you can read it. I will also add, you get the entire Patreon for the Scribe tier. So you get all the downloadable stuff, all the extra advice on the side, and I am in the middle of recording a class for it that will be up under the Scribe tier. So you'll also get a class on how to write. It'll show you how to write prose, how to look at your prose, how to handle logical narrative movement. It'll give a little bit of class on, what a fragmented sentence is, how to break the rules of a fragmented sentence, things like that, where they say there are grammar rules. I'm going to go over grammar rules and show you where and when and how you could break them. I'll even talk about the lovely ly words. Other than that, 27 plot point outline is currently available. makearightlefthehere.com. It is the newest book that I have published, and it is not just a book on how to outline. So if you're a pantser, you can read this book, and it teaches you about the flow of narrative. So it talks about the understanding of narrative flow and the beats you're working towards as a pantser. But also the second half of the book is all about the process of outlining. So you get 2 minds in one book. And as per the book, it says that all writing is discovery, whether you're outlining or writing from the seat of your pants, because we don't have any information, and so we start playing with it. So it was a fun book. For those who are looking to try to make a little bit more success in their career, this is the first book of 5 that are already written, The Foundation of Longevity. It is available currently. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. All right, I did all my hoopla. Let's get to the questions. If there are any questions. Don't forget the bloop, bloop. That's right, because the sword of bloop, bloop. You got to bloop that beard. All right. Oh, I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff. Let me go back up. The main thing I have left to do is write a blurb for the book. Oh, the blurb! That's always the fun part. Now, I have a video, by the way, on writing blurbs. I don't know if it went out already, but I do talk about how to write a verb, and I think, I talk about the fourth moon blurb. Yeah, that video's available, man. If you need help on it, you could always just send me the blurb, buddy. I'll give it a little one-over. I'll give it a look-see. I'll give it a little tappy-tap-doo-da-day. Anyway, can't wait to see Afghani. I have a remix of a song called The New Man Mix. The New Man Mix. The New Man Mix. I might write some this afternoon after my nap. You had me at nap. That's what I need. I could always go for a nap. I'm definitely having a sandwich after this. Bloop it. No one wants to be defeated. Nice. All right. I have to get rid of social media. Seems that's all I've done since everything happened with the mum. If it helps you, that was something I had to do. I had to ixnay the social media to just get back to normal. I was spiraling down because I was just seeing, because there's a lot of hate on the social media. I don't know if anyone knows this. Social media is filled with hate. Like, and I was like, it was just making me being like, oh, maybe I should, maybe I mean, I have zero value as a human being because of me. It's terrible. Although I did get some writing done for the first few days. Sometimes we gotta, what is it, filter that energy, Thomas, you know what you should do? You should write an actual book about the sort of bloop bloop. Could be funny. Well, I don't know, sir. Maybe the sort of bloop bloop is out there as a story. You never know. You never know. Naps used to be punishment. I know, right? It's like, what do you mean I gotta go? Because the naps weren't for us when we were kids. The naps were for our parents so they can have some peace and quiet. Does someone makes your sandwiches for you? No. No, they do not. That's all right, though. It's okay. After Dave died, the horror channel really helped me. It just started up in April of that year, and the channel brought much distraction. I love that you found a way to process and to get through that. The horror of it all. Interesting. The horror channel. Is that a? Oh yeah, you're from the Brit in the Great Britain, so yeah, the horror channel. Is it a horror channel? Is it called the horror channel? It's good to do that. I watched shows my dad liked. That helped me. I watched White Collar and stuff like that. Anything he liked, I just watched. I was like, let me see. Also, my father didn't get to finish some shows, so I finished the shows for him. So I had to watch them from the beginning all the way to the end to sort of be like, here you go, Pop. We got to watch it today. It was on Freeview. Is that like Tubi? All right. It does, right? It helps. It helps. All right, other than that. Okay. We did good. All right. As always, though, do we have questions? I would love to answer some questions. By the way, if you're new here and you're watching, I'm a developmental editor and a writing coach / teacher. So it's free advice. You just ask me a question about what you're having trouble with on your writing, if what you've been hearing about writing, anything. If you have any questions about the business, I am a successful entrepreneur, So in the entertainment industry, I've been doing it since 1997. Technically 1995, but 97 was when I was really like, let's get into it. So I know the ins and outs of the industry. I've been in all media formats from the music world to the writing world to the comedy world to the acting world, etc., etc. I'm here. Hasta luego. Please stay safe. Angel Faye, a good night and salutations. It's got me to actually sit in the lounge. Oh. Sit in the meaning like you were having trouble getting into the lounge because of associated emotions and memories. That's good. It's like a nice step. It's a nice step because there are things. Yeah. You gotta. There are certain things we have to do as humans to sort of like get to where we gotta go. Emotionally. I have a question, Thomas. What about the flamethrower attack on the Geonosians? I was really upset about the Geonosians because you would think that they would actually not be a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? They're more part of the problem than they are not a part of the problem. But as far as Boba Fett's father goes, he had it coming. 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 How's that go? Right? Yeah. He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you had seen it, I bet you would have done the same. Pop, six, squish. Uh-oh, Cicero. Lip sync. People have these little habits that get you down, like Bernie. Bernie liked to chew gum. No, not chew, pop. Some So I came home this one day and I am already irritated. And I'm like, for a little bit of sympathy, and there's Barney laying on the couch, drinking a beer and chewing. No, not chewing, popping. So I said to him, you pop that gun one more time. And he did. So I took the shotgun off the wall and I fired 2 warning shots into his head. He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. If you had been there, if you had heard it, I bet you would have done the same. My favorite story of that song is he walked into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. That's my favorite one. All right. I love your YouTube short videos. They make me laugh. And my favorite one is with Gordon Ramsay's voice. Oh, yeah, that's actually that's the voice of Key and Peele. They're doing like a little funny one. But yeah. Yes, that was the imposter syndrome one. I'm glad you like those videos. I'm having fun with the shorts. Oh, that show with the dubbing of Key and Peele was funny. I'm having fun with them. I'm trying to enjoy myself and get them out there. I noticed that whenever I do a video that's like, here's 3 things I can help you, they go. But every time I do like a text video or just a funny, silly video, they go up. As long as it has to do with writing, I'm okay doing it. But I've got to work on my story more so I can ask you writing questions. But you could just ask me writing questions. You could be like, how do I X? Or, I'm having, what is true exposition? How do you filter exposition? Whatever, He working for ice, baby. Too cold. Stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new edition. That song used to come on as soon as you heard it. You'd be like, did everyone run into MTV and be like, hey, what is that? What is that? All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new edition or invention, right? Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. Feels extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance, go rush to the speaker that booms. That song was a hit. How was that song a hit? I can't think of that stuff when I don't have to ask it. Mr. Man. Well, that's fine, bro. That's fine. I appreciate it. Appreciate you wanting to give me substance for a question. I just feel bad because I like to give this hour to the group. I like to give it to everybody. And, wasn't that called Ice? Yeah, it was. Ice, Ice, Baby. It was also known as Under Pressure. Boom, 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 ba-da-dum, boom. Boom, boom. Except Vanilla Ice says his was dum, 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 da-da-dum, dum. Right? And Under Pressure was dum, 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 da-da-dum, dum. And I disagree. Now that the party is jumping with the bass kicking and the Vegas a pumping, quick to the point, no faking. Okay, I can't even do it. It's terrible. How do you know if a character is really needed or if you're just adding one because you need someone to fill a slot? That's a great question. Let's answer that. 2, come here. Come on. All right, so that is a fantastic question, and thank you, SB. Let's get a little applause on that. I'm pretty excited about this question. All right, so again, how do you know if a character is really needed or if you're just adding one because you need someone to fill a slot and perform a certain task? I'm gonna give you a short answer, and then I'm gonna sort of expand on it. All right, the short answer is, and I'll use my screenwriting background and the notes that we would get from showrunners or producers and stuff like that. Sometimes you'd need somebody to come in and be like, hey, Billy or Melissa, what is this blood report mean? And then they'd be like, and it means to do this thing. And it's like one line, right? And the solution to that was, how do we get rid of that line? Because it's costing money, or for writers, for novels, it's costing your word budget. How do we get rid of that line for them and give it to one of the other characters that need to know it? Right? So then you have to go back and see the fact that they know this stuff, or you foreshadow that they've been talking to this person, or you just say they're reading the report from the blood forensics. But how do you know? How do you know if a character is really needed? The secret is forward narrative momentum. If the character isn't there to A, add to the plot, develop as a character, or add to the world building, they are most likely not needed. If they are just a character to deliver a line, that means they are lacking the substance of character development. They are only plot device, and they're not adding to the world. Now, I'll add this much. Let's say you're writing a story and there's a waiter. Okay? I've talked about this in a video. The waiter doesn't need to have 27 plot point arc. It doesn't need technically it's a flat arc, right? Because there's no development in the character. But the character's going to come up. They're going to say, what do you want? You know, we have these for the specials, okay? You should still put something into that character. So maybe they have a limp. Maybe they have a scar over their eye. Maybe they have a certain kind of hair look. Maybe it's something about their outfit, right? Maybe it's their tone, their tonality. Whatever the case is, if there are a quote-unquote passing character, or what we call in the movie industry, under 5, all right, you still want to give them some sort of personality. If the character doesn't have personality, which is depth, which I was talking character development and depth, if the character is just somebody that comes on and goes, here's your soda, have a nice day, you might not need that character to say anything or that character. But you're probably asking about deeper characters, like a main character, not a protagonist, but a main character, someone that's a part of the cast, etc. So the rule with characters, I'm obviously into the longer version now. The short version is, if it's going to cost you your word budget, that's, and it's not doing any of the 3 things, just get rid of them. The long version is, if you have a main character, all right, first off, do they have an arc? Okay? If the character doesn't have an arc, most likely you could get rid of them. Does it have to be a flat arc or a growing arc, or where they basically become less of a person? There are different variations of arcs. They have to have an arc, whether it's flat or otherwise, right? That arc must exist within your story, right? If it doesn't have an arc, that's one clue that maybe your character isn't needed in the narrative. Now, here's another thing. A main character should influence the narrative movement forward. So if they exist to inform about the world building, that's not narrative forward momentum. If they exist to add to the plot, either to complicate it, to help resolve it, or to add information to it, that character might be needed. If the character isn't doing those 3 things, or other variations of that, they might not be needed. So how do I go into an example of this? Well, have you ever seen what's the Transformers with Miller, T.J. Miller, the one with T.J. Miller? So in Transformers: Age of Extinction, 2014. That movie was 12 years ago. All right. Anyway, so in Age of Extinction, there's a moment where his character dies, and the reason his character dies is because he had fulfilled his narrative momentum, meaning everything that he could do for that narrative. And I know it's Transformers. Was used up. So they killed the character off. And sometimes it happens. When you're dealing with a story or a narrative, whatever, you're going to come to a point where a character is useless. In fact, if we go back to a little independent film called Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4, the only reason Obi-Wan dies is because George Lucas said in an interview, I had nothing else for him to do, so I killed him. And then when he realized he was going to make a second movie, he's like, what do I do here? All right, I'll make Yoda. So it ended up working out. But a lot of times characters are killed off in narratives because they have completed the service to the narrative. That is the secret to knowing if a character is really needed or not. How are they serving the narrative movement forward? If they do not, they shouldn't be there. You can, a lot of times too, going back to screenwriting, a lot of times you could take two main characters and make them one character. And I am sure you have seen this in a television show or a movie where it's an adaptation of a book. And what do? They take a couple of characters and then they make it one character, and that's the character. And the reason is because they're trying to save money on the budget, because every actor is cost the money, which is another day on set. Blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to writing a book, it's the same thing. Every character that is a main character is going to cost you word budget. It just will, because you have to put time into them. They need to be on the page. And I know, baby. One of the things I had a client, they had a bunch of characters. And there's nothing wrong with a lot of characters, but they had a bunch of characters, and they would have like these. It was a fantasy book, so they were like in a tavern, and like the 6 characters, not that that's a bunch, but the 6 characters are around the table, and only 2 of them were talking. That's okay. However, the other characters weren't present on the page. Occasionally, they'd be like, six meads were dropped on the table, or character 4 picked up a mead, right? And I was like, look, these characters, they don't need to be in the scene, because you're dedicating time to make them feel present, but they don't feel present because they're just there. They're not doing anything with the narrative momentum. And the creator, the client was like, well, they're a group. They should be there. I go, then that's fine. The solution is how do they add to the debate, right? So that brings us back to where you challenge positions. So I said, why don't you look at the scene again, look at what the 2 main characters are saying to get your plot through the page, but then have counter positions from the other characters. Oh, but that'll add more to the page in the chapter. I go, but it'll still move quicker if we have movement in the debate. It slows down. The pace is slowed dreadfully. Not that a slow pace is bad, but the pace is slowed dreadfully because you're stopping the narrative movement to explain that someone picked up a beer. That's not even a part of the conversation. Anyway, they did the work, and they were like, I'm so glad I did this. And the reason they were so glad is because it creates movement. Movement isn't always physical. This isn't always movement in a narrative. Movement is that there's emotional fluctuation. A position being challenged creates fluctuation. All right. A character having a reaction to something is fluctuation. A character being emotionally moved by something, to go to silence or thought, or to feel dismissed, whatever the case is, or to be loved, or to be engrossed in affection. That's narrative movement. That's what movement looks like. Characters are affected by emotions. Anyway, that's a long-winded thing, but that's when rap we're crap. Yeah. Oh, with ice, baby. I remember that controversy. Oh yeah, where he's like doom 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 doom. Excellent. Thank you. You are welcome, SB. You are welcome. What if the extra characters are intended to be bullet fodder? Well, if they fun fact, Tom Cruise was in Young Guns 2, and his character was there just to be shot. He was given his makeup was a fake beard. If a character's just there to be shot, 2 things. If they're only there to get shot, don't give them a lot of screen time or page time. Don't really put a lot of effort into them as far as who they are as character development. They're just a part of the gang getting a shot. If you want them to be shot and to have meaning, then they need page time. They need to be explored. They need to have some sort of characteristic. And by the way, this should be able to happen within a page. A character should be present as soon as they enter the scene. I'm sure you've heard that before. What does that mean, though? Well, the way a character enters a room, the way the character reacts in one beat is character development. I think I've talked about this. I was working with a writing team. I was the head writer and the department head of development, and for the production company. And I gave everyone an exercise to write monologues. I was like, look, I want you to write a monologue. I mean, a full-on monologue. It has to be 5 to 10 pages. And they're like, what? I go, it needs to be 5 to 10 pages, and only one character can talk. First of all, why? The exercise was to see, can you create narrative movement or emotional movement with one character? There could be other characters in the scene, but they can't talk. Only one character, right? The character has to show. They have to show me as a writer that they can create emotional movement, okay, and keep me engaged for 5 to 10 minutes or 5 to 10 pages, because I wanted to see where they were writer wise. And there was this one author or writer, screenwriter, that came in, and they wrote a 10 page piece, and I didn't know anything about this character until like page 6. And I was like, all right, well, we definitely need to work on these first couple pages, right? And I was like, we need to know who this character is. Like, who are they? They're like, well, you only gave me 10 minutes or 10 pages. It takes time to get to that point. And I was like, all right, I know what's going on here, right? But my advice back to them was like, if we don't know who they are on the first line, that either whether it's dialogue or behavior, you didn't do the work. We got to know who that character is. And by the end of 10 pages, you should be able to go back and start adding those elements, adding that vibe, and they were like, hey, I don't believe that's possible. You need time to develop a character. And that's not necessarily true. You do have to put there's so much can go into one line. If a character walks in and they throw their hat on this, as soon as they walk into the room and they throw their hat on the couch, or they throw it to the hat hanger, the coat hanger, and it misses it, and they just shake their head and keep going. I've just told you so much about that character, and it's just one line, right? Melissa walked in, took her coat off, and tossed it onto the coat rack. It fell to the ground, and she just shook her head and kept going. That says more about that character than if I spent 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have to spend 5 pages to know what's going on with her emotionally. She's frustrated. She's had enough. Hats off. Hey, what's up, Richard? Let me get it in there. By the way, the gong is love. Richard, always know when I hit the gong for you, it's love. And now he's talking about hats. All right, anyway. I hope that helps answer your question there, Ro. Because ultimately, when it comes down to characters, if they are if you want to have the reader connect to them, you have to give them page time, and you got to give them some sort of, even if they're going to die quickly, you have to give them some sort of movement on the page. And then if they're nobodies, if they're just a part of like they're one of 1,000 soldiers, then it doesn't really matter. You just kill them all you want. The gong is fun. I love the bong too. I don't do the marijuana. Is that what the kids call it nowadays? The marijuana? I don't do the MJ, the weed, the hash sack. I don't do the freaky greens. But yeah, because the ganja, the reefer, I'm not really into the dope or the bud or the grass, the chronic. I'm more the sticky icky is a little too much for me. So yeah, sure, I see people smoking the trees, but at the end of the day, reefer, whatever, the purple haze, the skunk, I don't know much about it. All right, please do not ride the bong. Doctor Strangelove reference. That's a fantastic movie. All right, everybody. Any more questions? And bro, I do hope that question was useful. Is anyone going to be smoking the shake, the bud? Grass, the dope. All right. We've been dancing all day. Oh, let me tell you what's coming this week. Let's get into it. Where's my let's open it up. Boop. I'll tell you what's going on this scheduled week, and then we'll call it a day, because I definitely need a sandwich. I need my what's today? The 1st? Jesus, how's this? I don't know, people. I don't know how time flies like that. All right, here goes. As a little aside, it's going to be 2027 before we know it. So remember, a little bit a day does a lot of return. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right. What's going on? All right. According to the schedule, we have this Wednesday. I have three pre-records this week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have a dialogue video. So internal monologuing, incorporating internal monologue to reveal a character's thoughts and feelings. So I talk about that and I show some examples. And then, of course, Thursday will be 4 terrible writing options or opinions, I should say. So 4 terrible writing opinions, and then, of course, solutions to those opinions. And then Friday is going to actually be a video on staying productive. I'm going to be talking about how to create specific writing sprints for yourself and how to create motivational elements to maintain your writing. This Saturday, we will be analyzing a chapter, except I'm going to do something fun this week. I'm actually going to analyze a screenplay. I'm going to analyze Shawshank Redemption. I'm going to take a scene from Shawshank Redemption. I'm going to put it on the screen, and then I'm going to ultimately break down the dialogue and the movement of the scene and show you how that correlates to novels and basically how to study how to study screenplays or television or film or whatever you're watching, and then how to learn from that and put that into your novels. And then, of course, Sunday will be the Write a Book With Me series. We'll be on number 61. This week, Thomas will finish 5 more books. Only 5? Yeah, it's a slow week. It's a slow week. It's too cold to type. Well, technically, tomorrow I will have heat again. And you know what's crazy? I trimmed my beard and then the heat went out. So I feel like I did it. That was nature saying, "What are you doing to yourself, buddy?" But the only reason I did that is because I was trimming it and then I kind of went and I zipped it off and I was like, oh, I gotta go lower. Updates. So the second book in this series right here, I am on. I'm just doing I already did the format and cleanup. I'm just doing a once through. I'm just doing a quick once through it. Nothing too major. As I'm formatting, I'm cleaning up this final little bits of it. So the second book in this series will be done within the next month or two. So I'm hoping it'll be available for June. May, June. I'm not gonna finalize that though. You know what I'm saying? Emma. Also, the Noir book. I am on chapter 8 of that. I am flying through it. The fun part about the Noir is it's probably going to have 48 to 55 chapters, but they're all short. I only have 2 chapters that reach 2,000 words so far. Every other chapter is around 1,000 to 1,500. So I'm really liking giving myself sort of that, not going too deep into it like I do with the epic fantasy. So that's been a lot of fun. I am working on the how to write book, mostly because I'm also working on the lesson plan. So I'm using that as a guide, to really work on the book. And what else am I working on? Well, you could always go to makearightlefthere.com and you could just go to books and novels and you'll see. Because I am Legacy and Blood. I already have my alpha readers reading Legacy and Blood, even though technically I'm only on really steps. What am I on? Step 7? No, I'm on. Oh, no, I am. Yeah, I'm on step 8. I'm on alpha readers. I have to update that on my website. And I've been working on the outlines for book 4, 3 and 4, because I've been updating them. So I've been really going at it. Other than that, oh, and of course I have another book, the Kellen Var Egrave books, that series. I already outlined the first book, and I got excited about that one. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on. What's up, bro? We're not related. That's true. You ain't my mother. British. Isn't that from I Wish I Didn't? Listen. British slang will say this. that you ain't my mother means. By the way, if you don't know television, it's from the East Enders. East Enders, by the way, fantastic show if you haven't seen it. And I haven't. No. East Enders. If you don't know, it is a show. What is it, a soap opera or something like that? All right. How do you know that? Look, I can't tell you my secrets. I watch British humor. I love British humor, and not just Monty Python, my friends. What's that other show I used to watch all the time with the crazy? It's an old show, crazy blonde and brunette roommates in an old Britain show. Let me see. What is it called? I don't know. Keeping up appearances, maybe? No, it's older than that. No. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. It's good stuff though. All right, what we got here? Oh my god. Richard and I do the Phil Mitchell mad face when we're cross. That's funny. Emma. Hi, Emma. Great show with Thomas this past week. It was a great show. We had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, but it's not. Ooh, is it? Maybe that's what. Coronation Street. Oh, that's the other one. What is the name of the show? If you've ever seen Friends in London, when they go to London, oh, London Governor. I think they say that a bunch of times. Tom Conti, and then you have what's her name? The one who plays the Tom Conti's wife. Why can't I remember her name? Whatever. I can't remember. It's old. It's from the what is it, the 80s or something like that. Let's see. I know I'm going crazy here. I'm sorry. I can't remember the show. I can't do it. It's not supposed to be funny. Yes, ma'am. EastEnders is unintentionally quite hilarious. Thanks, Ro. He's a delight to be interviewed by. I only asked you a couple of questions, you know? All right. I think it's an accent. It's the accent. Are you being served? Oh, wait, that might be it. Are you being served? No, that's not it. I have heard of that show though. We used to get shout out. Get out of my pub, London, baby. All right, step in the map. Get out of my pub. Okay. Never seen any soaps for years. What about Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins? First of all, we both know Dick Van Dyke's not British, right? But Mary Poppins. Skinnamarink dinky doo, skinnamarink dee. Is that Mary Poppins? Mary Poppins. That's Mary Poppins, right? Mary Poppins. Right? I don't know. Poppins. What's the song? It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, right? I don't know. I think that's what it is, right? Skinnamarink dinky doo, skinnamarink dee. No, I don't know. Was it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Was the girl's name June Baxel? All right, okay. Famous show in Britain. She was on Cold Feet. I think that no, not Helen Baxton. I don't like not Helen Baxton. June Baxdale. No, I don't want Helen. I don't like her as an actress. Shows. She was in Tales from the Mad. No, that's not it. Truth. No. Why can't I think of it? Oh well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, my brain is done. All right, everybody. What do we got? Oh, we got more stuff. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. One of my favorite shows was Friday Night Dinner. Friday Night Dinner. Britain. They have a lot of episodes. Oh. I love the picture. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. That's atrocious. SB. What's the noir book? Oh, I'm writing a noir book that actually takes. So, the Death of a King series takes place in a world, and it's. I wrote. So the noir is in modern times in that time in that world, but it's modern time. So there's technology and everything, and it's about a character named Richard Roosevelt. Believe it or not, and no, Richard. Before you ask, I did not name him after you. Richard Roosevelt is actually from a TV show that I worked on, that we were pitching and stuff called 21-3. And anyway, so Detective Richard Roosevelt, and it's his origin story. It's the first book in the series, and Richard, but more importantly, it's gonna be the first book in a series. It's basically gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But 21-3 was a show that I was working on, and my team was getting ready to pitch it. We pitched it with the Circle, which we got to pitch, and that was a lot of fun to do. But the noir is basically, it's a fantasy crime thriller noir, and it's gritty. It's we get to see Richard. It's his first day as a detective under the tutelage of More or Less Not Great. That's right, I got to use the name, everybody. More or Less Not Great is in the book. He is the experienced detective, and there you go. It's called Altar of Lies, and it's the first case is a case on divinity, and the serial killer. I could give this away. It's not really the serial killer is called the God Killer, so it should be fun. Super proud. Oh, we did. Oh, Richard. Richard is from Keeping Up Appearances. Oh, I see. Rad Thomas, way to go on spreading out time periods. Yeah, I like doing that. I like the concept. I've always had a modern time in that world. I just now I get to explore it. What's funny is the Circle, the TV show The Circle, was in that world, but we were going to film in Brooklyn and everything. Brooklyn and Manhattan. And then 21-3 is also in that world. But the way it was supposed to be filmed, and since we're not airing it or doing anything with it, it was originally supposed to feel like it was our world, like New York, and then it was slowly supposed to like turn into something else, and you'd be like, oh, this is more than we thought it was. And the different species would come out, the Valus or the Chemvalus and the Akids and the Reagans and everybody. So it was going to be fun. More or Less is Moral's friend. Yeah, they're best friends. They're best friends. They hang out. He prays to him. However, I would like to see a Varn have his own show. A Varn have his own book, and I want the god of the underworld to have his own show, because he's. What's fun about a Varn? This is a little little world building lore for everybody. A Varn is like the god that just does his job, and he's like, I like my job, but like it's just a job. Like my job is I'm the god of the underworld, and when people die, I have to, when people are going to Katium, which is basically like hell, he's like, I gotta go get them, and like but he's not like an evil guy, he's not like what you would consider Satan. He's he's just like, oh, I gotta go to work. Good stuff. Anyway, is that it? Oh wow, we did 2 hours today. I'm pretty happy about that. All right, everybody, closing up shop. All right, to everyone out there, I will see you next week. Thanks for all the love yesterday and compassion for letting me cut out early, because I was feeling like poopy, but I'm feeling much better. I got a little something in my neck, but the caffeine has definitely been helping, if you know what I mean. Other than that, feel free to reach out. You know, you could always reach out to me and say hi. Join me on social media as you can, but also make a right left here.com. I'm always looking forward to hearing from everybody. And I'm so thankful that everyone's here. We already did the poll, sir. We did the poll. The poll, everybody picked social media. It was a shoo-in. All right, everyone. Whew. I'm out. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.